would we do without an interview? Okay. So we want to just give you a little bit of information about your actual experience. So the experience is going to run December 3rd, December 10th, and December 17th. So these are all Wednesdays with the exception of a very small group of you that have a different situation. But for most of us, December 3rd, 10th, and 17th. Your employers are expecting you to arrive around 3:30. Please try to be as prompt as
around 3:30.
Yeah, at 3:30 or slightly before.
Between 3:15 and 3:30, no later than 3:30.
And these are just some general things that you should be thinking about in terms of your placement.
Perfect. So you want to have reliable and consistent transportation, especially given days like today where business doesn't generally close. Yesterday when there were, 400 plus schools in the surrounding area that didn't have classes, today 88. Businesses generally don't close, so they will still be expecting you unless you make alternative arrangements. If for some reason you are unable to make it to one of your job shadow days, make sure that you're communicating with the site, but then you're also communicating with myself or Lindsay, and we have included our names in the student information packet. So you will have that. If you're an IT Explorer student, it would be Lindsay. Engineering Explorer would be myself. And the reason we want to communicate with both is, say you call the employer and you leave a voicemail. Well, their instinct might be like, hey, Lindsay, hey, Amy, Chrissy didn't show up today. Well, listen to your voicemail. She left you a message a long time ago, or what have you. And just so we can communicate with you. Also, does anybody know what a job shadow versus like an internship or a part-time job is? Still shut, but I got one hand back there.
A job shadow would be you're just going in to see what goes on versus an internship where you're actually part of the process.
Fantastic. That is a wonderful explanation. So thank you. Yes, so just think pretty much the opportunity that you're going to have over those 3 Wednesdays or Tuesdays for a handful of you is going to be to do an observation experience. You're going to see the tools, the equipment, the environment that is occurring within your job shadow partner workplace. And as Lindsay mentioned earlier, we have many of IT Explorers, many Engineering Explorers going to the exact same location because these functions happen simultaneously. Okay, so you have one piece of homework after today, and I'm hoping my parents and guardians are going to be my backup on this. One thing that we've heard from previous Explorers programs over and over and over again is that employers want to hear from you as students about what it is that you're hoping to get from the Explorer program. And they'd like to hear that sooner rather than later, but no later than the Friday before your experience begins. And very simply, and it's in your student information packet, we created a little blurb in there of, started out this way, include it here. And we want you to copy Lindsay or myself on that. And that is just a very brief, hi, I'm Amy Pierce. I'm your Engineering Explorer through KISD. I'm super jazzed because I've always wondered about mechanical engineering or about networking or what have you. I'd really love to learn this. And it can be anything that you want to learn, that you're hoping to see, questions you want answered. And the reason they want to know that information is because if they're able to customize or tailor the experience to you, they want to be able to do that. And as you can see, some locations we have multiple students going. And so they want to see if there's anything consistent that they're hearing, again, so they can modify and make sure that experience is tailored to you instead of handing you the out of the box, here you go, this is all you get. And so please do review the packet and then send the information. Also, Do a little research on your company before you show up. I would love to say it's for the employer's benefit, for our partner's benefit, and that is a kudos. But it's mainly for you, so that you feel comfortable with the experience and with the environment. A lot of times, organizations will have little snapshots of their rooms or videos or what have you on their website, but also don't rely just on the company's website. Do a little Google research. Find out if they've gotten any awards or recognitions. You may find that something that you have a personal passion for, maybe cancer research or awareness or prevention, maybe this company has the same passions as you and your family do as well. Dress properly. On the majority of your placement summaries, there is a dress code. Most of them had gotten back to us. However, because of my technical glitches, I can't say that they all came through correctly. And so if there is dress code information to send to you, we will get that information to you, and I apologize about that. And also, open your mind. Be free. Don't go in with any concrete expectations. This is exactly what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to be. Because you will find, as many of your parents can probably attest to, is every given company, every department has a different personality. And you'll find that at your job shadow sites as well. So keep your mind open and free.
And even if this initial placement isn't exactly what you were thinking, is something that you are like destined to become a part of, there are certainly at all of these companies, I mean, these companies are pretty prolific groups with some pretty advanced opportunities. So stay open-minded to what you might pick up.
Oh, absolutely. We just had...
Be surprised.
Yeah, we've had some students in the health sciences, Spectrum Health Explorers program right now that know exactly, like, this isn't what I want to do, but guess what? I found this. And I love that, and I want to try that. So keep your mind open. So during the job shadow, be observant. What's happening? How are people interacting? Are they very serious? Does it take a lot of detail? Is there a lot of open and gregarious prankster things happening? What's happening in the environment that you're in? One thing, and as you see it's in bold, maybe not so much for you, but for me, so I'm mindful to tell you this. And photos, videos, telephones. It's our instinct right now to like pull out our phones and like, oh, that's so cool. How incredible is that? But you're going to be going into some businesses where you will actually have access and probably see some proprietary things. We do have... they're not partnered for winter, but will be for spring. They actually have a prototype vehicle that's never been seen except for by General Motors and this company is sitting in their building. And I was able to see it a few weeks ago. It's covered with a tarp. I signed off on. So those are the types of things that you may see. And you may not think that a little tiny plastic part is revolutionary, but it could change the trajectory of an entire industry. So make sure they'll probably have you look at and sign off on, like you can't videotape in this area, you can't take photos. Please be very mindful of that, and we'd love to get pictures and videos that are allowed. We'd love to have them on social media, but be mindful of it. And again, lesson learned for me because I did just come from the higher ed, so every student I worked with was over 18. I didn't have, so I'm out a few weeks ago like, snap, snap, snap. And they're like, Amy, no, you can't be posting all of that. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm not used to all this.
You just ask.
Yes, they'll tell you. Very open.
It is appropriate, and
Yes.
they don't mind at all.
Exactly.
So just be conscious of that when you're.
Yes. Don't be like Amy. Let's just say that. And then self-reflect. what is it that you learned this Wednesday that you want to ask more about next Wednesday? Or what do you want to be prepared for before the end of your experience, and ask for it? Communication. Be very aware of what your body language is saying. One thing that we hear from our Explore partners is, man, the students look bored. But Lindsay and I know, because the student evaluations are like, that was the most thrilling thing I ever did in my life. It was so cool. Can it be longer than 3 weeks? Well, it's that adult teenager response of, wow, you're really overwhelming me, and I'm trying to take this stuff in, and it's a lot all at once. So it might appear that you're bored. So just be aware of what we're giving off. Same thing like if Lindsay, who's teaching me a lot all the time, I'm like, and she probably thinks I'm not a happy girl, and I really am. So just be aware of that. And initiate conversations with the staff. You'll have an assigned mentor. They're going to introduce you to folks. Don't feel like, okay, hi, it was really nice to meet you, and you can never go back to that person. Because they're really excited. We're all kind of ego-driven. And so we'd like to hear about things. So, and just be polite, be honest, be tactful, be the way that your parents want and guardians want you to represent yourselves out in the community. And remember that these opportunities we're hoping can lead to recommendations for college, for post-secondary training, for jobs, future internships, and different things like that. So just be aware that what you deposit today, we're hoping you might be able to reap in dividends later. Then Lindsay's going to take you through.
And the last thing just to mention about while you're actually at the job site, one of the biggest points of feedback that we heard repeatedly from employers was we want them to interact. They don't want to have to entertain you the whole time and not know if it's the kind of thing you want to see. So the introduction email is going to really help with that, but being prepared with some questions and being willing to engage in that conversational process with your mentor is really, really important to the employers. And sometimes I know when you get into a situation where it's new people, there's a lot of new stimuli, sometimes it can be kind of difficult to be coming up with questions on the spot. There are a list of questions to think about finding out in your packet. Might be good to kind of go in there with a few of those in your head every Wednesday to make sure you get some information out of it. Sometimes when there's a little lull and the employers aren't sure, feel free to say, I'd love to hear more about X, or I would love to see that thing that you referenced a little while ago in action. Or could we go meet that guy? That sounds like a really cool process that he's in charge of. So don't be afraid of that. They actually would celebrate those kind of comments from you guys. So be sure to put that out there. At the end of the job shadow, it's a 3-week job shadow. We understand this is a short window of time. So you really don't have a lot of opportunity to make a lasting impression, but they are looking for young people like you that are interested in these fields. So if you are willing to interact and engage, there may be more opportunities for you down the road. Several of these employers have talked about trying to create summer internship programs for high school students. I mean, how cool would that be if you got to go there, do the kind of work you're interested in, and get paid for it? I mean, that's a good deal. So really put yourself out there as somebody that really wants to be around this kind of work. We know we have a group of very interested people. You guys are doing this outside of your regular school day, not for credit. Huge gold star to all of you for even just getting to this point in the process. But now that you're here, really make the most of that experience by asking lots of questions and engaging as much as you can with your employer mentor. And when it's over, thank them for doing this for you, because none of them have to do this. In fact, our job is to go to basically HR departments and say, we think you should engage more with the K-12 segment. And they say, you're right. And then they turn around and say, hey, who in my company is going to be our engagers? So these people have stepped up and said, I would love to work with some high school students. They're doing this, they're taking a little bit of time away from their day to spend it with you. And these are good people that really want to connect with you. So just at the end, you can send them a handwritten thank you. You can send them an email. Some of you probably noticed on your front sheet there are a whole lot of mentors. Some companies have decided that it might be most interesting for you all, if you're only there for 3 weeks, to see as much as you can. So they're going to rotate you around the company so you have an opportunity to see lots of different aspects. So then you might just send an email and copy everybody on it and, tell them thank you for the experience. Afterwards, you might do a little more research on that company. You might do some research on some of the other companies that are participating in this. You might just look locally or anywhere in terms of other companies that do that same kind of work or other types of engineering or IT. You're probably going to want to start thinking about, if you are going to go into this field, what type of trajectory you would like. There's lots of different ways to get to the end point that you will see when you're out in your placements. And we can help you with that here. There's lots of information about that through KCTC, your high school counselors. Be honest with yourself. Sometimes the best thing you can ever take away from a job shadow, 3 weeks of your life, we're talking 5 hours total. If you walk away and say, you know what, that's for sure what I don't want to do. That is not a losing deal. I spent 2.5 years in college going down the wrong path. That is a very expensive mistake. This 5 hours is going to cost you nothing but, 5 hours. And hopefully it won't be snowing like this and it won't take you an hour to get there every day. But, be honest and be reflective or, be really, this is when Amy was saying, pay really careful attention. If you are wandering through and you're following your mentor, but you're always looking over there at what that guy's doing, because that looks really cool, be aware of that and then give us feedback on that. And maybe, next semester or next year, we can get you placed with that gentleman over there and whatever cool machine he's working on. So, future opportunities on our website, careerready.kisd.org. We'll be running 2 more Explore opportunities in the spring. We'll be running 4 next year. We're hoping to, as we continue on here, Amy and I have only been in these roles for 2.5 months now. So as we move through this year and into next year, we're hoping employers have shown a lot of interest in some longer term shadows like this, where you maybe go twice a week, for a longer window. If you've already done this program and you know that you're very interested in a certain field, so we're looking at extending that in the future. February 2nd of this year, we're doing a full day job shadow. So that one's on a Monday, so you would actually be out of school. But a lot of these same hosts are saying, sometimes these after-school ones are very difficult for students to get there and back. So on February 2nd, you might have an opportunity to go see just a different company altogether, be there for a 5-hour window, get a different experience. But all of those types of opportunities are posted on our website. Some just general things. We are communicating via email. We have heard that there's some strange email bug that is not loving Amy's email.
Email me
So they weren't accepting what she was sending them. If you have any issues, both of our emails are listed. I'm also going to put up another way that we can communicate with you here if you're interested in that. But please do know that it's really important that you're communicating with your mentor particularly. More so than us. If you are really sick, if the weather is too bad one day and you know you're not going to make it, please let your mentor know. That was the number one point of contention for people that participated in the past, is when students didn't show up. And understandable. They've got some stuff lined up for you, some things they want to show you. And if they expect you and they're waiting for you and you never make it, that's very frustrating. So please be very mindful of that.
Can I add something to
Absolutely.
that? And this is not to put any pressure on you, but why it's so important for them to know is they're very happy to set aside time for our students in the area. But many of our engineers and many of our IT folks, what you may not know is they work on what's called billable time. And so instead of waiting, they can start working on actual projects. So it is, it's costing them money in that time. So you just try to be really respectful, copy us, and let us know.
Absolutely. Sorry about the snow. We really thought we were safe on November 19th. We were not going to run into any issues. We looked at rescheduling this for tomorrow. Tomorrow looks equally bad. Then it's Friday, then it's Thanksgiving week, and then the thing starts. So thank you for making the trip today. We don't want you to ever put yourself in a situation where you feel like you're in danger driving there. So if you do, just let us know. And then the last thing I wanted to just throw out there, I don't know, some of you might be familiar with Remind 101 through school. This is an awesome tool. You can, if you want, no pressure, but this is a very easy way for us to send you some sort of updates. This is a way to like communicate without me actually, but we all have your cell phone numbers, but this way I can send like a mass text to you if there's something big happening, or if corporations are closed, I can let you guys know. So if you just text that number and this, you will be joining our Winter Explorers class. Parents, feel free to do this if that's, and then there's also a way to do it via email, but I realize this is probably very difficult to read right now. But it's explorersw@mail.remind.com. And if you just send an email to that group, you'll automatically, when I push out an announcement, you will be alerted to that. So I know sometimes text messages are easier than emails to receive during the day. I'm sure you guys don't have, phones in school necessarily, but, I just, sometimes that's easier. So, do you guys have any questions for us? We're trying really hard to get you out of here by 5 so that we can start that hopefully not long, easy, smooth trek home. But if anybody has any questions, we'd love to take a few questions. Anything we can clarify? Yes, sir. Thank you.
If we do not have any mentors listed for the company, should we go to the website and just fill out the contact form?
No, that's a great question. Your OST, is that right?
Yeah.
I have that information. I'll email you guys tomorrow with OST, the specific mentors. Thank you for that question. Yes?
So the address, location, and the sheet given today is different than what came in the email? Do we go by what?
Are you at Spectrum?
Spectrum.
Yes. So Spectrum said we're going to take 6, but Spectrum, as you guys can imagine, is enormous. So they have the largest IT employer in West Michigan, 800 IT people, but they got volunteers from all sorts of different locations. So definitely use the one that's on your sheet for Spectrum. Yep. Yep.
Yes, and that's a lesson learned for us, that the first go around, don't give out the
Yep.
address.
Next,
Time.
next time we'll just send
Get here.
the
Yeah.
employer, and then
Yeah.
we'll give you the specifics later. Yeah. But thank you for that question.
Very much so. Any other questions? Concerns? Who's excited? Woohoo!
Yay!
That's what we like.
Please do send that introductory email. It doesn't have to be long. It just shows your employers that you're engaged and you're looking forward to it, and it will help